Fear of being seen, we're scared of being judged, we're scared that people may think or say negative things about us or to us. When we feel this fear, what we truly desire is acceptance. Now, people think because I post myself on social media that I don't have the fear of being seen. But the World Wide Web, the social of the media, people online are scary. When you present yourself to the masses, you can get mean, rude, unkind comments. So it's scary out here, but you just have to do it. You just gotta face your fears. Exposure therapy, baby. If you have the fear of being seen, then put yourself in a position to be seen. If you have the fear of being judged, put yourself in a position to be judged. If you fear criticism, put yourself in a position to be criticized. Because are you going to let that fear control you, or are you going to control that fear? What are you going to do? Even though I'm just a girl, I am also a woman. Hello, my sweetheart. So this episode of the fear of being seen is the desire to be accepted will cover 7 tips to overcome the fear of being seen. 1, reflect. 2, heal the inner child. 3, exposure therapy. 4, embody someone who inspires you. 5, don't assume. 6, accept yourself. 7, God. The fear of being seen is when you feel discomfort, feeling of anxiousness, panic when you become the center of attention in some way. Now, how this looked to me was not going into my 1-hour lecture because I was 1 minute late. I was scared to go into the lecture hall and have everyone's eyes on me. So to avoid that, I just missed the whole lecture. I hated, despised at university or even at school presentations. I was the type of person that I would rather choose to write a 10,000 word essay than have to do a 2-minute presentation in front of 5 people. I avoid public speaking at all costs, and also when I'm in group settings and everyone's attention is on me, they're asking me all these questions about me, I get really awkward. I don't like it. So I'm just like, next topic, please. I don't want to be the topic. Now, the fear of being seen stems from various factors such as negative self-perception, heightening our self-consciousness, perfectionism, fearing judgment for any mistakes or imperfect opinions. And the funny thing is, this video I'm filming right now, this is like the 4th take. Also, the criticism and judgment we experienced in the past made us hesitant to voice out our thoughts. As women, brown women especially, we were conditioned to think that silence was better because it reinforced patriarchal and colonial norms. We internalized the idea that our voice was less valuable, less important, which discouraged us to speak up when we need to speak up. They tell us you should not be seen. When you have a voice, you are only setting yourself up to be punished, to be rejected, to be discriminated. When you speak, you will only create conflict. So it's best to stay silent and out of the way. But you soon learn that speaking up and having a voice is the only way you can advocate for yourself and for other people. I personally would really recommend reading The Transformation of Silence into Language and Action. It's something that I always go back to. You can literally Google it. I think it's the first one that comes up, and it says, I have to believe over and over again that what is most important to me must be spoken, made verbal, and shared, even at the risk of it being bruised or misunderstood. That the speaking profits me beyond any other effect. The first tip is to reflect on what is stopping you from being seen. I don't want people to judge me. I'm scared people will misunderstand me. I might say the wrong things, they may say mean things, they may leave unkind comments. People might think I'm cringe when I post myself. What is stopping you from speaking your truth? What prevents you from sharing your opinion? Why aren't you posting on social media like you want to? You have to first identify these to overcome the fear. The second is heal the inner child. If you have the fear of being seen, what you truly desire is acceptance. You want to be appreciated for who you really are without judgment. We weren't born with this fear. We went through experiences to gain this fear. So you have to revisit those moments when you felt judged or belittled. When did you feel unseen or unappreciated when you were younger? We felt unsafe being our true authentic self because when we shared an opinion different to theirs, they laughed at us. When we were seen by people, we were also criticized by people. We spoke up, they told us to shut up and be silent. When you go back to these moments, you will feel uncomfortable. It's not a nice feeling because your body will remember the emotional pain you went through. That's why our bodies tell us it's dangerous to be seen. It wants us to be safe, so it tells us to hide ourselves, to keep ourselves small, because in that way we don't risk the emotional pain we once went through. That way we can still be accepted. You have to have self-compassion for yourself. If that younger version of you was your child that went through the hurt you went through, what would you say? You remind your inner child that hurtful reactions from others were a projection of their own limiting beliefs. They had nothing to do with you. You remind that inner child that you deserve to be seen. You deserve to be heard. Your value does not depend on what other people think or say about you. You remind your inner child that it is safe to share your opinion because the present version of you won't judge. You don't need to look for external validation because you validate yourself. You remind yourself that you don't need others to be accepting of you anymore because you accept yourself. Now, by addressing and nurturing your inner child, you can heal past wounds and build the confidence to be seen and heard authentically. 3. Exposure therapy. The only way out is in. So just do it scared. Do it with fear. Even though I still have this fear of being seen, I am still posting myself to be seen. I was scared to post myself talking on my own Instagram account. It took me years and years and years. No one would hear my voice on that platform. But a few weeks ago, I overcame it. Yeah. There's this conversation online of people saying that it's harder to post on Instagram than it is TikTok. And I agree. Because I was posting myself speaking on TikTok nearly every day. So why was I scared posting myself on Instagram? On Instagram, I have people who know me in real life. Friends, family. So in that sense, I thought I must be scared of their judgment rather than the judgment of strangers. There is also this sense that on Instagram, it's very aesthetic and let's say like a professional way compared to TikTok where it's more casual. It can be less performative. So there's this sense that if you post something out of the norm, I am more likely to risk isolation because I am not conforming to the normality of the masses. That's why we fear posting on Instagram more so than on TikTok. There's also this notion where on social media suddenly we all become so attached to numbers. If my post doesn't get this amount, my content must not be good if I'm not getting the likes, the engagement, the this, because people think 200 views is not that much. People want the big numbers like 1 million. If you kind of think in reality terms, if you were in front of 100 people, how would you feel? 5 people I don't know, I get scared. So to have 200 people watch me, have their eyes on me, it's a big deal. There was this story I read on Twitter where this guy was posting himself on YouTube. He was posting consistently, but he wasn't getting the views. He was getting probably like 50, 100 views, but he was still consistently posting. If he attached his self-worth to those numbers, he probably would have stopped posting because he thinks, oh, no one's watching because only 50 people watched it. Oprah Winfrey was watching him, and the content he was sharing was really valuable to her, that she ended up messaging him for this really big opportunity, and he ended up taking it and being really successful in that field he wanted to be. I wouldn't say I have that many people on Instagram compared to how many followers I have on TikTok, but I still post on Instagram. I could end up thinking, you know what, people don't really interact with my Instagram content. No one's really following me, all this. If I attached my self-worth to likes, followers, numbers, then I wouldn't post anymore. I'd probably delete my Instagram account. My sisters, my cousins, my friends were really shocked when I told them that Michael B. Jordan is in my likes. Just a little subtle flex, you know what I'm saying? It's not how much followers you have, it's not how many views you have, it's not how many people is watching you, it's who is actually watching you. The other week I had the video of me talking ready to post. I was feeling so anxious. Sometimes before I post on social media, I feel the discomfort in my body. My body is literally screaming at me like danger. My head is telling me don't post, don't post, don't post, avoid posting, because I know that if I post, I will be seen. I will risk being judged. I will risk people thinking of me in a negative way. It was a few minutes of me thinking, do I post? Shall I just not post? I don't want to post. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me just post. I was there like, do it if you're bad, do it if you're bad. I'm a baddie, I can do this. And then I just ended up posting. I was like, I posted it. When I actually posted it, I was thinking it wasn't even that scary. I was really just overthinking for nothing, because what was I scared of? If you judge me, you judge me. That's none of my business. If you unfollow me, you unfollow me. That's none of my business. If you don't like my content, don't like my content. It's okay. It's okay. The more I am posting, the fear of being seen isn't actually decreasing. There will always still be a part of me that is telling myself it's dangerous to post because I risk not being accepted by people, strangers, people I know. Before I post, my body will still feel uncomfortable and my head will still tell me not to post. Even before I probably post this video, there will still be this uncomfortable feeling. We get so comfortable with the feeling of fear that we get used to it. When we confront the fear, it feels so uncomfortable, so we just want to avoid it. Being uncomfortable is the only way for growth. I don't believe you can get rid of fear in its entirety, but what you do through exposure therapy is that you learn to feel the discomfort and just do it anyway. I feel scared posting, but I just post anyway. The fourth tip is to embody someone who already has what you desire. Think of someone you admire who handles criticism with grace, who posts on social media like you want to, who doesn't let other people's opinion get to them. Then you channel this person's energy, their strength, their resilience. Sometimes even think you're acting or pretending as them in that moment. This helps build your own courage and confidence to do what you really want to do. The more I post myself on social media, the more unkind comments I do get. And when you present yourself to the masses, you risk getting criticized by the masses. Whenever I get rude comments and it makes me feel a negative way, because I still do have this fear of being seen, there will be a part of me that doesn't want to be seen anymore. There's a part of me that doesn't want to post anymore. There's a part of me that doesn't want to share my opinion anymore. When you start posting online, the more you realize there are so many people, strangers, even people you know, people close to you, everyone just loves to project their own insecurities onto you. You could really be the kindest, most beautiful person in the world, and people will still find something negative to say about you. In these moments, what I do is I look to the people with the big masses of following, the people who are really seen. Every day I see unkind comments about them, but they still post themselves consistently. They still do what they want to do. They still voice their opinion even when people want to silence them. So then that power, strength and resilience they have, I try to embody. If they were in my shoes, how would they respond to judgment? Would they let these comments get to them? No. Will these ugly, insecure people stop them from doing what they love? No, they won't. They have the control and power over themselves and their life. They accept themselves enough. By embodying someone who inspires confidence, you gradually build your own courage to step into the spotlight. 5, don't assume what people think of you. What if people judge me when I post? What if people think I'm cringe? Do you think you're cringe? What if people think I'm ugly? Do you think you're ugly? What if they think this or that? Do you judge someone when someone posts something on their social media page? Do you think someone is cringy or embarrassing when they post? Because if the answer is yes, darling, this isn't a reflection of the person posting content. It's a reflection of your insecurities. If you think that someone is judging you, but they haven't actually said anything to you, this means you're actually judging yourself. When I catch myself in this position, I have to remind myself that whatever you're thinking is none of my business. You're focused on people thinking negative things about you, but what if they're actually thinking positive things about you, huh? What if people are silently admiring you? How many people do you admire and they don't even know that you admire them? How many people do you look at and think, wow, they're baddies, they're so beautiful, they're so articulate, but they don't know that's what you think of them. I met someone once, and the first time we met, she didn't say anything to me. She didn't smile at me either. So if I made a judgment off of that, I would have thought she was judging me and thinking negative things of me. The next time we saw each other and we were more comfortable, we were sat down and we were having like long conversations, and then she said to me, you know, the first time I saw you, she was proper gassing me. I just thought you were so pretty when I first saw you. You were just so beautiful. How could this person be so beautiful? And I was like, girl, stop it, girl, stop. She was like to me, isn't it weird that if I didn't tell you what I thought of you, you wouldn't have known? Don't let overthinking consume you. Reframe your mindset from, what if they're thinking negative things about me, to, what if they're thinking positive things about me? 6, accept yourself. The fear of being seen stems from the desire for acceptance. Ask yourself, who do you want to be accepted by and why? To overcome the fear of being seen, you have to accept your identity fully. You embrace who you are and allow yourself to make mistakes because it's part of being human. You accept yourself so much that other people's judgment of you will not control your life. When you start sharing who you truly are, sharing your opinions, your views, your story, this means the people for you will gravitate towards you because they are aligned with you, and those who are not will show themselves. When I receive negative comments and I feel this urge to hide, avoid, or stop sharing my opinion, I have to remind myself of the growth I've experienced. It took me a long time to share my opinions. It took me years and years and years to become comfortable with my own voice. It took me years to confront the pain of not being accepted, of being belittled. It took me so long to have this courage to face my fear of being seen. So remember how far you've come to where you are now. No matter how small the progress may be, you have to celebrate yourself. Our past selves would be proud of who we've become because our experiences taught us to recognize and confront our fears. Before social media, I didn't even think about my tone of voice or the way I speak because no one really focused on it. I think when I worked in secondary mental health, that was probably where I got more comments of people saying, oh, like your voice is so sweet, voice is so nice. Posting myself, I received so many comments on the way I speak. I actually didn't realize this would be such a hot topic for the people there. So there are lovely comments when people say your voice is so calm, it's so sweet, you should do ASMR. There's also negative comments. They say your voice irritates me, your voice is annoying. Speak this way, speak louder, speak faster. You have to understand that people will always have an opinion on how you should be. When your family, friends, society, strangers on the World Wide Web tell you how to behave, remember that you have control of your life. You don't like what I do? You don't have to like what I do. You don't like the way I talk? You don't have to like the way I talk. During these times, you have to reaffirm your identity. I know how I speak. I know the way I speak isn't hurting anyone. Why should I change the way I speak for the comfort of you? Who are you? If I changed the way I spoke just to please other people, then that would be me inflicting self-hate. I am rejecting my identity for the sake of acceptance from people who can't even accept me for who I truly am. Why would you even want to be accepted by people who don't hold the capacity to accept you? You don't. Thank you, goodbye. It's also not about convincing ourselves that it will be fine if people misunderstand us, if people will say all these mean things, unkind things. People really aren't nice. People can be mean because people really are out here unhappy and insecure. The way you perceive me is a reflection of you. You accept every part of your feelings. If you feel angry or you feel triggered by comments, then assert boundaries. Block people. Remove comments. Reply if you have to, but never give them your power. I accept myself enough so you don't need to accept me. I accept my identity enough so you don't need to validate me. I love myself enough so you don't even have to like me, darling. 7. God. Whenever I feel fear, I feel anxiousness posting on social media, I feel scared to be seen, sick to my stomach. I remind myself that God didn't put fear in me. The devil is responsible for fear. When I fear people misunderstanding me, when I fear people criticizing me, I remind myself, why would I fear these people's judgments and opinions of me when the only thing I should fear is God and Judgment Day? When I have this mindset, I feel much lighter, and I am also able to take my power back through the strength God has given me. Your life will never be yours if you give your fear power, because now it controls you. So you need to take up space. You need to be seen. You need to talk. Voice out your opinions, even when it makes people uncomfortable, because you accept yourself enough for who you really are. Even though I'm just a girl, I am also a woman. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. You can keep up with me on my Instagram and TikTok at Maria X Antonette, MariaXANTONETTA. Every episode will be released on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Any inquiries, you can email info@mariaxantonette.com, and I will see you in my next episode. Bye. Love you. Bye.